Hey everyone, Gail Wu here, your friendly and fun-loving real estate agent in the greater Seattle area. It is at the end of the first week of May, in the peak home buying and selling season, so I thought it'd be a great time to provide a quick market update. I'll share some statistics about the greater Seattle Metro, hone in on King County in particular, and then focus on activities within Seattle and the Eastside, and share some statistics for each city in that area. If you have any questions or you want more information about other cities that we don't drill into today, please feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to provide that info to you. I'll also be providing a monthly market update. So if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening in Seattle, please subscribe to my channel below. As expected, the last couple of months saw a lot of listings come on the market as we move from winter to spring. What's interesting is we're not only seeing increased inventory month over month, but also year over year. So we're seeing more listings this year than we saw this same time last year, and significantly more. In the Seattle Metro, which includes Snohomish, Pierce, and King counties, we saw a 54.4 increase in inventory in March of 2025 as compared to March 2024. And for April this year versus April of last year, it was a whopping 62.3% increase. This means more sellers are primed and ready to sell. On this graph, which shows each of the three counties that make up the Seattle Metro as well as Northwest MLS as a whole, which covers about 2/3 of all counties in Washington state, you can clearly see a trend of increasing inventory over the past few years. More homes listed for sale is certainly great news for buyers. But does this translate to lower prices? Not exactly. Even with increasingly more listings over the past few years, we still have quite an imbalance between homes for sale relative to the number of buyers looking to purchase homes. And because of that, home prices in the Seattle Metro continue to rise. So with a continuing rise in home prices and still low inventory relative to buyer demand, we're still in a seller's market. A seller's market is typically characterized by low inventory, high buyer demand, rising prices, shorter days on market, sellers having the upper hand and negotiating power, and sales price at above asking, often with multiple offers. What we've seen the last couple of months is a bit of easing in these conditions. For inventory, as we discussed, there's been an increase. Buyer demand has tempered a bit, causing the rate of sales to be relatively slow. This is partly due to volatility of interest rates. Rates this spring decreased into as low as 6.6%, which was drawing some buyers off the sidelines. But because of the news on tariffs in April and all the economic uncertainty it brought, buyers have been hesitating or holding off. In a tech hub like Seattle, many buyers' down payment come from restricted stock units, which lost a lot of value when the stocks plummeted with the tariff scare. So those who would have pulled the trigger did not. At the same time, the interest rate shot up by about 0.5% in just a few days before settling back down into where it is today, around the high sixes for a 30-year fixed. And of course, that caused many buyers to pause. In the first week of May, there's been very little change in interest rates, inching down ever so slightly from the week before. All that translates into longer days on market, and while sellers still have the upper hand, we are seeing more concessions and negotiations more favorable to buyers. While offers are generally still slightly above or at asking, we're not as much in a crazy bidding war situation like we've seen in the past. According to most industry experts, a balanced market is considered around 4 to 6 months of inventory, which means if no new listings came on the market, it would take 4 to 6 months to sell off all the homes that we already have listed. Anything below 4 months is a seller's market, anything above 6 is a buyer's market. Despite seeing more active listings at this time than we've seen over the past 5 years, and our months of inventory also being higher than previous years, we're still well below 4 months. And at the current rate of sales, it would take around 2.5 months to sell every home that's active in the Northwest MLS inventory. Now, specifically in King County, we are looking at 2.3 months, so even less inventory. Median sales price in April for residential properties, including houses and condos, is overall at $910,000, an increase of 3.4% over the previous month, an average of 20 days on market, and a sales to list price percentage of 100%. So sellers are generally getting exactly the price they're asking for. If you look at a breakdown between houses and condos, you'll see that in King County as a whole, we're looking at around $1.04 million in median sales price for houses, an average 16 days on market, sales price slightly above asking, and only 1.8 months of inventory. For condos, median sales price is at $580,000, 33 days on market, 100% sales to list price percentage, and 3.7 months of inventory. So condos are edging towards a balanced market for buyers and sellers. Taking Westside and Eastside cities and comparing them four at a time in terms of median sales price for residential properties, we see Seattle at $897,000, Mercer Island at a cool $2.45 million, Bellevue at $1.76 million, and Newcastle at $1.93 million. Next, we have Kirkland at $1.5 million, Redmond at $1.4 million, Issaquah at $1.01 million, and Sammamish at $1.75 million. As you can see, the East Side is a generally more expensive area than Seattle proper, none of them being less than $1 million in median sales price. These next four cities sometimes may be considered part of the East Side as well, as each contains portions that are east of Lake Washington. But more commonly, they are thought of as separate from the East Side. The median sales price for Bothell is $1.11 million, Woodinville $1.39 million, Kenmore at $916,000, and Renton at $775,000. That provides a good snapshot of where median home prices are today. Now, drilling down into each city and key stats for houses and condos, we start with Seattle. About 700 homes were sold in April in Seattle with houses at $1 million median sales price, $600,000 for condos, and sellers are getting at or slightly above asking, but the days on market for houses is a short 16 days, but 36 days for condos, and months of inventory, while still at a low 1.8 months for houses, is now 4.4 months for condos. Mercer Island, which is a much smaller geographical area, only had 21 homes sold last month, 20 houses and one single condo. Median sales price sits at $2.5 million for houses and $595,000 for condos. And with additional listings that have come on the market in April, Mercer Island now has 8.8 months of inventory for condos. In Bellevue, condos are at 5.3 months of inventory, but they're going pretty fast at 17 days on market. Houses comparatively go at about 12 days on market. Median sales price for houses went up 8.7% in April over March. That's pretty sizable. Newcastle, teenier than small Mercer Island, moved just 15 homes, 2 of them condos. But condos in Newcastle are at a median sales price of above $1 million, and they're only at a 1 month of inventory and are selling like hotcakes, going in just 6 days on market. Houses are going fast as well at 9 days on market, with a median sales price of almost $2 million. In Kirkland, condos are also at above $1 million in median sales price, but taking about 27 days to sell, and now stands at 4 months of inventory. Houses share similar profiles to other East Side cities, with a $1.71 million median sales price and selling in 14 days. Redmond is very similar to Kirkland for houses, though for condos, not as many are coming on the market, so it has about 2 months of inventory. Issaquah is at $1.395 million median sales price for houses and $553,000 for condos, with 1.8 and 2.1 months of inventory, respectively. Sammamish has very few condos, so only 1 month of inventory. For both houses and condos, Sammamish is commanding offers above asking in a higher percentage than other cities. Bothell median sales price for condos have increased significantly in April over the previous month, and same with Woodinville. Kenmore houses sold at 100.3% above list, while Renton is seeing more modest gains in home prices, but selling them faster for both condos and houses. So that's it for today. Hope you guys found this rundown of key stats in each city helpful. To summarize, the key takeaways from my May 2025 Seattle market update are: 1. We're seeing a lot more listings this year, more than we've seen over the last 5 years. 2. However, demand still outpaces supply, so we're still in a seller's market. 3. Home prices are continuing to rise in the Seattle metro area. 4. Economic uncertainty and relatively high interest rates are sidelining or causing some buyers to hold off, causing a slower rate of sales. 5. But for those buyers who are taking action, the longer days on market and increased inventory are translating to opportunities. Not as many buyers competing or bidding on the same home, stronger negotiating power, and more concessions from sellers during the transaction. Thanks for tuning in today. Any questions, feel free to reach out. Gail Wu signing off. Till next time.